Okay, today we're going to make a homemade pasta sauce, and all that's in it is zucchini and tomatoes. I've already diced up my zucchini really small, so you can see right here I just cut it in half, then slit it down, or cut it long ways, like 2 or 3 times, and then cut it so it's nice and small. This is only 2 zucchini. Yeah, so the zucchini are about this size, so that's 2 of them. And then I'm going to do, normally I only do like the same amount. I do like maybe 3 tomatoes and 2 zucchini, but I'm going to use a little bit more tomatoes this time because I want it extra tomatoey. So I'll show you the next step. Okay, I'm heating up some extra virgin olive oil, and I'm just going to pour my zucchini in there. Normally I do it with 2 hands, so I don't get it all over the place, but and then I salt it. My heat is on medium, and add my garlic pepper, and don't worry about over seasoning because you're going to be adding a lot of different things in here. So, and then I stirred everything up so it's like, you know, every piece has coated in olive oil, and most pieces have some seasoning on it. You can use any kind of seasonings you like. I am very particular about, not particular, I favor Italian seasonings more than anything else, so that's usually what I go towards. Okay, so I put the zucchini in there first because zucchini takes a little longer to cook, and that's also why I try to cut it pretty small. Originally, when I made this, I'm going to add my tomatoes in right now. So originally, the first time I made this, I kept the pieces pretty even with the tomatoes. And yes, I'm seasoning again. The salt will bring out the flavor. And these are only 3 of my tomatoes. But originally, I kept everything the same size, relatively, and then ate it like that. But my kids wouldn't eat it. And so what I did is I blended it and made a sauce, and they love it. So they're eating the same exact thing I would eat. As an adult, you know, we like more of a texture, me personally, but they didn't like that. You know, they didn't like the skin, and I kept the skin on both the tomatoes and the zucchini because that's where a lot of the nutrition is. Obviously, before you cut your veggies, make sure you wash them. Okay, now I'm adding the rest of my tomatoes, and I'm keeping all the juice in there, and I'm adding salt and garlic pepper to this as well. Just to make sure that everything is seasoned properly. And you see that the juices from the tomatoes are all in here. And then the zucchini sweatings, and then there's the olive oil. And if you notice, I did not add more olive oil once I added my tomatoes in, and this is because the juice from the tomatoes is going to just create a nice sauce, addition to the sauce, so I don't need to keep it wet with more olive oil. And don't worry about your cuts for the tomatoes. I mean, I just quartered them and then halved them again, halved the quarters, and then just cut them up kind of roughly. Wasn't perfect, neither with the zucchini really. So that's, you don't really have to worry about being perfect in that sense. So you'll see it's kind of, I don't know if you could tell, it's getting a little soft. See, the zucchini is getting soft. And the reason, again, I put the zucchini in first because it takes longer to cook. And I didn't, you know, there's been times where I started at the same time, and the tomatoes, I mean, yeah, you want to cook them down, but it just took so much longer. If the zucchinis are in there by themselves to begin with, then you don't have to, it just won't take as long. So you have 2 options for this. If you have the time, like right now I'm doing this while my son's having his quiet time and my daughter's napping, you know, I'll just stand here and tend to it. It doesn't take that long, about 10-15 minutes. Or you can reduce the heat to low and put a lid on it, and then just come back every you know, 5 minutes, and stir it and make sure it's not burning. But I typically like to stay in here and just watch it, and you know how well done you like your vegetables. I like to cook this down pretty much, like kind of a lot, because we are putting it in a blender, and the more cooked it is, the softer it is, the easier it's going to blend. Do you want to do this chunky? You can definitely. What I like to do is I like to take mozzarella and cube it or shred it, however you would like to eat mozzarella, because it just melts so well with this. And you can put it on top afterwards, and it tastes so good. And it's great to heat up too, and like when you do it whole, not if you blend it. If you blend it, you still can put the cheese in there, but it'll just kind of be all, it'll give it a little texture, but personally I like it with the cubed zucchini and the, you know, diced tomatoes. So. Okay, so it's bubbling, so probably gonna have to turn the heat down just a little bit. But do you see how much juice is in there already? And it's only been a few minutes since I last showed this. Not even a few minutes, like maybe 2. You can see the skin, I don't know if you can see that the skin's peeling off. You don't have to do anything. I mean, it's going to do all the work for it. The cooking is going to do, like the heat from here is going to do all the work for you. Hi, baby.
What is this doing, Mama?
I'm cooking. And so while that's cooking, continuing to cook, I lowered the heat a little bit. I'm going to start my water for my pasta. And I'd use it because you can see it's going to catch the sauce really nicely. It'll take a few minutes for the water to heat up. I have it on high. You don't want to put your pasta in until your water is boiling. And I mean, you can put it in before it's boiling, that's fine, if you don't have the time to like wait around for it. But it just won't, it may not cook as evenly, because the pasta on the bottom will cook faster than the pasta on top, where if you wait and put it in when it's boiling, it'll all cook at the same time. So you can see our sauce is just, I even lowered, it's all the way on low. And this is why I don't put a lid on it, because it does cook pretty fast. You can, if you want, you would just keep it on low from, you know, the beginning after you add the tomatoes. But just, yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Alright, and this is something that you can add things to this. You can add onions to this, you could probably add bacon to this, like if you're keeping it whole and not blending it. And if your kids are, you know, more adventurous eaters, mine, you know, I have a 2- and a 1-year-old, so they're not quite there yet. I try to give them as much as I can, but, you know, food adventure wise, but it's something, we're getting there. So any dishes I make on here, at least for right now, I mean, they're really just basic things that any mom or any single person, you know, with not a lot of time or resources can do. I mean, I used a plate to cut my food because my cutting board is dirty, and it's too small anyway to, not dirty, it's in the washer, but it's too small to like cut everything that I needed, and then I could just easily wipe off that plate and use it to eat with. I mean, raw zucchini and tomatoes, it's not bad if the juices or whatever from there get on, and I'm going to wipe it off anyway so I can reuse it. And if you could see food, I wish there was smell-o-vision, because it's just so good. Like the smells, you could smell the, obviously, tomato and zucchini, because that's all that's in there, but the seasoning from the garlic pepper and the, oh yeah, seasoning from the garlic pepper and this, it's just takes it to a whole different level. Okay, so this is just about ready to go in the blender now. It's basically done, and I know it looks a little thin right now, but the zucchini is really going to thicken it up. And a way that I try to tell if the zucchini is ready to go in the blender, that it's not going to be too thick, so I try to find the thickest piece, and if my spatula goes through it pretty easily, that means it's ready. So we are all set to go. My water is still trying to boil. It's almost there. It'll get there soon. And it's fine if you have to wait for the pasta to be finished, because this is going to be pretty hot. Depending on what kind of blender you have, if you have a glass blender, just make sure that the glass is not cold, because you never want to put something hot into something cold. Okay, this is ready for the blender. I'm going to take it off the heat and let it cool down before I put it into my blender, because I have a glass blender. Even if I was using a plastic blender, I don't want to put it so piping hot in my cold blender. So I don't want it to break the glass, which can happen. Okay, so the pasta's finally boiling, so now we're going to add the pasta. And I'm adding the Typically, I'll only add half, but I have another recipe planned for the pasta.
Forks.
Forks?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I've added all of the ingredients in there. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but it's going to be really good. I know, I'm going to put it right there, and you're going to help me. Okay? So ready? Push the button. You got it? Push it. Push this one right here. Push it real hard. You're gonna hold that on there for me? Hold it right here. Good job. Oops, I accidentally pressed stop on the camera, but let's take this down and unplug it so he doesn't try to do anything. But that's it, and you can see it's a little thin, but it's
wow, yummy.
Yummy, huh?
Good.
And so it's pretty thick. We're just gonna stir it and make sure all the little pieces went through. But yeah, it's thick, but it's not too thick. It's a really good consistency. It's gonna stick really nice to the pasta. You wanna try some?
No.
Not yet? Wait for the pasta?
Put it.
Alright, the pasta has a few more minutes. Normally what I would do is I would put the sauce back in at the pasta right before it's almost done. No, don't touch. Hot.
Hot?
Yes, don't touch, please. Thank you.
Hug.
Yeah, hug. No.
What?
You can't touch the heat. It's hot.
Go, Mom.
And so this is why I have to cook strategically.
Mom,
But anyway.
myself.
No, you can't be over here right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, sometimes I'll try to cook the pasta with the veggies, like if I keep them whole at the end, so all the juices, all the juices get into the pasta and just makes it that much more flavorful. But for time purposes, and because I'm just really hungry and I don't want to wait, once the pasta's done, it's done, and I'm going to add my sauce to it. A nice trick that I like to do is I like to add a little bit of butter, not margarine, butter, because butter is better. And at the very end of my cooking. So let's look at the sauce again. Oh, it's so good. Let me take my spoon. That's good. Those extra tomatoes in there. This is really good on chicken, too. But definitely, it's a winner. Okay, and because I'm a mom and don't really have time, don't do that, please. Thank you. And because my son is, I'm gonna have to end this kind of abruptly. Stop, please. Basically, I just diced up the cheese, and I have a little bit of cheese here. Then I put it on the top. Pasta's done. Pasta sauce is done. Someone's gonna get time out right now because they're trying to touch scissors. But that's it. I'm gonna add a little butter to this, and then I'll take a quick shot once the plate's done. My daughter's still napping, and we'll see if this child wants anything other than cheese. Okay, so this is the finished product. I put all my cheese in the bottom of the pasta, so when I stir it up, it'll melt. I might add a little bit more on top because I just love mozzarella cheese. But this is it. And again, I know it's not the prettiest thing, the color-wise, but it is seriously so good, and my kids eat it. So it works for me. Hopefully it works for you. Please let me know if you try it and how it works out. Again, I promise it tastes better than it looks. And if you have any suggestions for this, just let me know, and I'll try this recipe again. Have a good night.